And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 186. So I hope you guys had a great day. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And I hope you guys also are going to be doing well in your life currently, because I know can always be like ups and downs and highs and lows. But don't worry. There are plenty of reasons later on in your life where basically things will happen to the point where, life will give you a reason to be like sad or upset, so don't just go out of your way to be sad and upset over everything. Just kind of, when something bad happens or something relatively unlucky happens to you, like let's say someone like pops your tire or keys your car. It's bad. Obviously, it's not a good thing, but it's nothing to get like super depressed over. I'm pretty sure you can get through it. People have gone through worse things in your life. Like, guys, there was a day where I dropped my backpack that I have going to work, and there was a can in there of an energy drink, and it spilled everywhere, and I was very angry. But I didn't just go get fucking depressed over it. Just shit happens. You just gotta learn to adjust with it. But the comic book industry does not. But we'll go over that later. In this episode of the MSK show, we are going to be doing a comic book review of Absolute Batman number 5. We are finished with the first arc. Absolute Batman number 6 drops literally this week, as well as the DC and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. I don't care if you mispronounce. I'm super happy about that. I'm psyched.
Just all, and you guys know, entertainment at its finest. But no, the DC and Sonic the Hedgehog collab issue number 1 comic book drops this week as well. Also, I will be attempting to debut newer comic book series on the Master Swag King Comics and Manga channel, potentially this week, given there's been a lot of recent news that has dropped. But it's not that I don't want to do it, because I know people have asked me to, because they know from my Yu-Gi-Oh days I was really big on instantly news drops. I was on it. Like, I make the video instantly.
Hard, man. It's too hard.
I'm just very nervous when it comes to comic book content. I don't know. I'm just very nervous when I do it. It's just a new thing.
I can understand that. It's a big undertaking, but I mean, like, if you were in the manga and all that stuff, there's so much more important news coming out from that vein, because they still actually make good shit all the time. Like, from what I see, my wife, like, she reads.
He just sucks up to anyone that's not me. He's like, any new person, that's my goat.
How am am I still new?
How many episode appearances do you have at this point? I gotta check the IMDb page. Let me see.
I know at the time we first checked it, it was 10.
You've 10? Holy fucking shit.
It might be like 12 now.
You have, good lord. You will have 11 episode appearances after this show.
Okay. That's so crazy. It was 10. We did it in the last show then.
Good
the
lord.
Before, maybe. But yeah, so my wife still reads a lot of it, and I just know from the hubs that she talks in, I'm not exactly sure, but there's always like tens of thousands of people in there at all times talking about manga. So it's like
manga news is crazy. Yeah.
It's so, I mean, if you can keep up with that, and especially something as big as Yu-Gi-Oh, like, I'm sure you could do it. It's just, do you want to take that undertaking? You know what I mean?
I did, and it's very rewarding. Like, my biggest video
I'm saying
ever.
For comics. I'm saying for comics. If you could do the Yu-Gi-Oh, you could definitely do comics. I'm just saying, do you want to take that undertaking with all the other stuff you already do?
Yeah, because the thing where people forget, my highest viewed video ever on my bigger YouTube channel back in the day was a news video. It hit like 12,000 whatever views, right? And news is something where I think a lot of people don't understand it, because like, I'll put out like news videos that we do here on the comic channel. People are like, man, but that was already announced. You're kind of late on it. I'm like, it doesn't matter. First of all, guys, I'll just explain this to you right now. I'm not just going to not release content because it's late. That's stupid. I would never not release something that I literally worked on myself with someone else, with their actual participation on the show, because you feel like it's late. And keep in mind, even if it's late, it's my videos are generally longer, and we everyone here has very thoughtful discussions. So even if something's late, why would you not watch something with that much layer of discussion in there? And we're bringing up like every point. You know, I don't like to always kind of wank myself off, but I do. Our conversations on here are the best. We cover every single basis in someone's mind. So the reason why they would like something, hate something, we're covering like all the nuance points, not just black and white all the time. So when someone says that you should release that video because it's late, you can go, I'll be honest, you can fuck off. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter, because just because you saw something does not mean that maybe you saw it or anyone else saw a video.
Right. And I'll say this, when I was making the comic reviews once a week, right? I said, look, there's many other channels that will do this better than me, right?
True.
But
yeah.
the point of what I'm doing is building an audience that likes me. Like, that's what it is. Like, you know, that's what you're doing. So like, I think the thing with our comic book discussion is that I like more than other people's is we don't always go into it having the same opinion. And I see a lot of where guys, they might have a differing opinion, but the domineering personality of the show tries to get that person to see it their way. And by the end of it, they're like, you know, I didn't even think of that. And now I don't like it. Or
because that mindset would be cool if you came to that naturally. Like, if you were to say something about a book that I didn't know, like, oh, that makes sense. I didn't think of it that way. But that's a natural thing that I would come to myself on a conclusion. Not like, well, this guy's kind of putting it down my throat. Now I have to kind of see it his way, you know? And the other thing I always tell people this is when I like doing news content. I generally love it. I love being informed myself. I love actually presenting it for people. It's just, it can get just very tiring because at some points news comes out so much. That's why for like these shows, we do like a review, then we do one topic. Like there were times we were doing like 2 topics. I was like, okay, that's a little too much. But if we have like
first
a review,
show I did, we did 3.
But it's, you know, as time went on,
4 hours.
First time it was goddamn, which one was it? It
don't matter, but it just, I know it was a bunch.
It was the Green Lantern one. Oh my god, we did.
We did shows after Green Lantern. We did shows before that.
Remember the
first
Green Lantern one? It was Superman, Green Lantern, and we also did one on like comic book sales or something. Oh my god! I realized when we did it, my brain was so fried afterwards. I actually straight up collapsed into my bed when the show was over.
Well, I think the when the conversation takes a natural progression, I think that helps too, because a lot of guys they want to get their shit in. You know what I mean? They want to get their shit, and I'm being dead serious, except for a few things like that I know that I'm going to say about the book.
Mm-hmm.
I come in here doing like nothing. I just go, okay, we're going to talk. To be honest, like I'll read whatever we're going to read, obviously, because that's, you know, what we're, but part of the show, I would much rather have a conversation and see where it goes, as opposed to, okay, this is point A that we have to hit. This is point B that we have to hit. It doesn't feel natural, and it doesn't feel like 2 guys actually talking.
That's the same way I feel about things when it comes to like general discussions. Like I'll try to really map in my brain a bunch of points, right? And I'll try to see in my brain, like, okay, what's the most common talking point? And let me kind of break it down to see where does it actually come from. Like usually when people talk about the MCU, like you've heard it, at least from on the shows and the stuff you watch, where people will constantly still say the same thing. Like, well, if they just made better movies, people would come. And I never disagree with that. People gotta say, I don't disagree with that. I understand what you're saying. It's perfectly true. It's literally not wrong at all. But you have to apply a layer of logic there that you otherwise wouldn't think of. So like, people need to understand this too. Just because you produce good shit does not mean people are going to watch it. And obviously vice versa applies to that too, right? Yes. It happens with a lot of other movie franchises and a lot of other things, books, TV, anything that applies to you. Like, let's say your YouTube channel, you think a thing is the best, right? You think it's the fucking best thing since sliced bread. Well, just because you think it's really, really good doesn't mean other people think it's really good.
Right. I think, okay, but I also have a counterpoint to that. I think the thing is,
no disagreements allowed. Fuck you.
Whenever I say, if they make something good, people will watch it, I'm only saying, I'm not saying every movie has to perform like Endgame. No, I'm saying people will come that came to see what they saw the last time. If the movie keeps dipping in numbers, right? Say this movie made 600 million. It's a average movie, right? Mm-hmm. And then they make another one and it makes 300 million. Well, the movie probably wasn't as good. I'm not saying if they made the movie better, it would have made $1 billion,
Yeah.
but it should make close to
Yeah.
what the last one made. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Whenever I'm
yeah.
saying these movies, they should make better movies. But whenever that first thing comes around and people hear, oh, this movie is nowhere near as good as The Winter Soldier or this or that, yeah, that's going to have an effect on things. But if they made a good movie, right? And people were like, dude, you got to go see this movie. You have to go see it.
Yeah.
Those fans that are originally fans of the MCU, they will go see it. It's not going to be $1 billion movie. It's not supposed to be. They wish it was. They might think it is, but you can only compare it to the last movie that they made in that, you know, like Captain America trilogy or whatever, quadrilogy, whatever it is now, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, now it's kind of hard to compare it to Civil War, obviously, since that was like Avengers 2.5 or whatever, you know, basically. But I look at like Ant-Man, okay? I never thought Ant-Man 3 was going to be this giant $1 billion movie. I looked at, is it going to perform as well or if not better than Ant-Man 1 and 2? That's what I compare the basis of, because why would I expect this one movie that never okay, I say this to my wife. I've said it before.
Wife? Crazy.
I'll say, why are you holding me to expectations that I've never met in my entire life? So why would you hold this movie to a criteria it never met?
Because that goes into my point where what you brought up, which is I think we're at this point now where people were so accustomed to stuff that they never started to understand multiple layers of other things as well. So like, I think that other MCU movies, like you said, benefited from other ones doing well, you know, because it was just like a collective thing of like, oh, I have to go see this. I want to get in on it. Right. But we're now at a point where I think I'm not saying this is the overall general sentiment. I'm just saying this is how I feel based off of like things that I've seen, which is I feel like a lot of people now, even if an MCU movie is good or bad, they're starting to pick and choose which one is actually worth the time. Because like I said before, an Ant-Man movie is just not going to perform as well as a Thor movie because the popularity of said character and said actor, right? And now we're also at the point where, like you said, they've been releasing so many bad ones. It's like that makes the decision even more harder. It's like a constant string of bad movies, people have to understand, will make people not go watch. DC's gone through that for many years, but it was just different with Marvel because their stuff was on average better and more consistent. They were just consistently better at a single point. DC, well,
100%. They were, you know, but it's funny now. Isn't it funny that they would all kill for like Batman v Superman numbers right now? They would all kill for it
because that movie was technically a flop.
A failure. Yeah. People would be like, $700 million. Holy shit, we've done it again. We did it, man. Yeah. You know,
the MC fans are like, man, DC sucks, and it's like we'll never turn out like DC, having no plans and no structure. Shit, how those takes have aged very well,
very, very, very well. And I thought it was so funny because for the longest time I kept saying like, man, all these movies are coming out and they're not talking about that giant freaking celestial in the middle of the ocean. And that, you know, I love how in the MCU, if something cracks out of the middle of the earth, it automatically fills the hole. There's no residual cracks in the earth. It's just the hole is exactly the shape of the celestial. It didn't cause any fissures or any damage, or it didn't affect weather systems. And what did they do after so many movies? Oh, it's adamantium. God damn it. And
the other thing that people did in the MCU, which they happen in like League of Legends too, which is such a crazy thing because in League, it's I guess similar to sports. You know how like there's like sports teams that will constantly bring up rookies because they think they could just hit a diamond in the road like they did before in the past. Happens in League a lot now with like Europe. They'll bring up like rookies that aren't polished, that aren't really good, but they think if they hit it big with the rookie, they'll get all the success and they won't have to pay him a lot of money because he's a rookie. It's on a rookie contract. I want people to understand this. The MCU, yes, they did underrated characters very well, but to think they could always do it is stupid because by that logic, they can't. Not every underrated character is going to do well, pending a lot, like we said, on director, writers, producers, different crews and cast every single time. what I would chalk up what they did earlier as just like not like luck because it was kind of consistent. That would be more like exceptions to the rule than like the average way to look at it. Like if they made a movie based off like fucking hell ROM, would that do well?
No.
Like who the fuck knows what ROM is, you know, or astronauts or that bullshit. If they did a movie based off like Annihilation, well, even though that's a very big thing in the Marvel comic books, what that do is very well. It's kind of like not a known thing. I'm not saying you always have to do known things, but this notion that you could always take this random buttfuck nobody and turn him into a household name is, you know, I think it's just kind of disingenuous, honestly. I don't think you can do it constantly.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, the Guardians of the Galaxy, that kind
Damn
of
James.
where that whole thing happened from. You know, it
Mhm.
was like they hit lightning in a bottle. He made a movie that had the right writing for these characters that they picked, and it also had a kick-ass soundtrack that people liked.
Yeah, it's good.
And
Yeah.
everything about it was big. And then it was
Mhm.
like by the time the second one came out, people were so ready for it, and they were like, it's like one of the few things where they were like, I wonder what the soundtrack's gonna be like. And last time
That
it was
was a
the
common
80s.
saying.
Is this
I remember
gonna be
that.
the 90s? What is
Yeah.
this gonna be? You know, and I'm like, I don't care. Is the movie gonna be good? That's all I
Yeah.
cared about. And then
Mhm.
we got Ego.
God, what a shitty MCU villain he was. God.
And I watched the third one, right? And I'm not a fan of the High Evolutionary. I've just never been a fan of him, right?
Mhm.
But I was like, the movie itself was pretty good. Like the story was good.
Yeah.
It was fine. Like I didn't have a problem with it. And it came out amongst like just a torrent of awful movies.
Mhm.
You know, and even that, like, as good as it did comparatively to the other movies, I still feel it underperformed, as it could have done a lot better if it was like I said,
Yeah,
surrounded
it
by a
wasn't
lot
even
better movies.
yeah, it wasn't even James's fault on that one. It's just, you know, string
No,
of not good MCU movies kind of hurts the other one. And now we're at this point where you could get like 3 not good ones, 1 good one. Is that the line that we're having now for Marvel? It's like we
I
had
until
what
they
No Way
pull out,
Home and then that
yeah,
one and then
until they pull out, you know, what we've seen is Deadpool and Spider-Man. You know, I mean, even these Avengers movies, like, what the hell are they gonna be? Like, what?
yeah. I think they'll
Like,
do
I'm
well
so
based off money because it says the Avengers, but I don't
right,
know if
right.
they'll have the same level of like hype. And
No,
remember,
they
do you
can't.
remember
They
when the
can
Infinity
never.
War trailer dropped? Like
Yes,
just yet yesterday, it was the anniversary of when the Infinity War trailer dropped. Oh my god, when the Infinity War trailer dropped, oh my god, was that just huge. When it started
mhm.
off, there was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people. Oh my god, man, just fucking hell.
Dude, it was huge. I don't think they could ever capture that again. I just
Evacuate the
don't think
city.
so. It just
Oh
it's too
god, man.
they had the right castings, the right, you know, everything was right. Now it's just so, and I think honestly, the Captain America Brave New World movie just ruined it, because like the big thing was, you know, I want you to start up the Avengers. That's what I want you to do.
After the same
And
character dismantled the Avengers.
right. And it's so funny. It's so funny that he goes like this. I want you to start up the Avengers, right? And then, like, literally within a span of 2 minutes, he's like, gone from I want you to start up the Avengers to you're done. You're no longer Captain America anymore. Like, what? Because Isaiah Bradley tried to kill you? What did that have to do with me?
Yeah, keep in mind, this is the character that actively wanted to suppress the Avengers with the government,
Yes.
then ended up basically chasing all of them for years, only for them to save the planet, only for him to ask for them back.
Yeah. And
But
still wanted them to
yeah,
sign like the accords and all this other crap. And it's funny too, because like he's the only person in that whole movie that had like a story arc,
which is yeah, good lord, man. And then you
which
know
is
the recent
weird.
updates on Brave New Worlds is that because they try to give movies like that really
Oh, you
off
mean the
shitty
31st
accolades.
highest
Or,
grossing
yep,
movie
yeah. Where
out of
oh my god,
35?
have you noticed that? If you're anyone who doesn't notice this trend, I've noticed movies like that will underperform. I'm not saying the quality because when I'm preferencing this, I want to preface this by saying just because a movie performs very badly doesn't mean the movie
Doesn't
itself
mean
is
it's a bad
bad.
movie. Right.
But they
Right.
but they usually give movies like that accolades that make no sense. Like, oh, it's the
Right.
31st highest grossing movie and it beat Black Widow. Guys, Black Widow had a day and date streaming.
Streaming. I
It's
watched
the
it the
only MCU
first
movie to
day.
ever have that. Yeah.
Yeah.
and it barely, Brave New World barely beat that movie. That's bad. That's really bad. It's actually terrible. And Scarlett Johansson was very mad about
very
that.
mad. She had every right to be, because even if her movie was bad, she was a beloved actress in character. People loved her. Like, you know, dude, she was so popular in Endgame. The whole first half was her in Avengers. Like, she was, you know, the main person there until Tony came back from space. And then
remember, she almost sued Disney because of that. When Bob Chapek was in charge, and they gave her some hush money because after like literally a day, she didn't talk about it anymore. And she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna star in this like this elevator movie or whatever."
Whatever.
And it never happened. It was just basically to confuse people that it was not a thing anymore. We need a grounded Spider-Man, Daredevil, Blade movie, in my opinion. Oh, you're talking about like Marvel Knights, stuff like that.
So I could see. Okay, so for me, if they try to do a grounded Spider-Man movie, right, it couldn't be Tom Holland, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. He's 3 movies into his franchise, and he's also 2 Avengers movies and a 0.5 Civil War movie, right? It's too much of that baby-faced boy. Hey, everybody, I'm from Queens. You know, like that's just me. Like, they would have to either, I don't know what they could do to help that image.
I thought he was just always, I'm not saying he's overrated. He is I think when people phrase this, they do it disingenuously, but I guess the way I'm going to phrase it is like, he is a balance of like, I guess the best parts of the other two, but it's never like anything impactful. Like, even for Andrew Garfield, I think his Peter Parker is very like off, but his Spider-Man
he was like too cool for school. Look at me skateboarding and blah blah blah.
100% was great,
but his acting fantastic,
very good.
Fantastic.
Toby had like the nerd aspect really down. He had that slice of life stuff with him, but
his acting was terrible.
His acting was bad in some places. It was very bad, but it was memorable. You remember a lot of it too.
100%.
Yeah.
But that was also
because
they made, you know, a Spider-Man movie that was actually like a good movie.
Yeah.
Even if you watch that first one, I know it looks ridiculous now. Like,
I still love it. I watched it not too long ago.
I still love it, dude. Yeah. Does he look like Gumby when he's jumping? Yes, of course he does. And I'll get you, Spider-Man.
When he was jumping on the balloons to save her. Oh, it's so weird now.
It looks like Gumby.
Yeah. But Tom Holland doesn't really have those.
He does not have any of that. No,
Nothing.
And I also think it plays off of Zendaya as Mary Jane. Like, what?
She's Michelle Jones.
Oh, whatever. Whatever. As MJ. I just don't see it. Like,
they treat that Spider-Man like comic book Peter Parker, where he has to just constantly lose everything, even from Toby's trilogy. You felt him lose everything. What's this obsession with Spider-Man losing everything? And I don't get it.
And what was the obsession for them to do it in the movie?
In Tom's movies, he lost a thing in every lost his first girlfriend in the first movie. Second one, obviously, he loses Tony when he appears in the Avengers movies. He loses his fucking aunt. And Doctor Strange did that spell where everyone has lost him from his memory. He lost Hogan. He lost his best friend. He lost his girlfriend. Why does this have to happen every single time?
And I don't think Iron Man would have wanted that for him, since he left him the glasses. Like, he left him the keys to the kingdom.
And then he gave him to Mysterio, even though he loved Tony. He said he loved this man, but he gave the only thing left from Tony to a guy that he had just met within 20 minutes.
And like, your spider sense didn't go off at all about this dude. Like,
doesn't have proper spider sense, doesn't have any proper swings. He's never like swinging and saving people. Stuff like that. Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed the movies when I saw them. I really did. Like, I can't say that I didn't. Even when I saw Far From Home, or No Way Home, sorry.
Yeah.
When I was there, like, I had so much fun watching it. But then when
I remember,
it was like, it was when I started thinking about it. It's like the same thing. You ever watch like a movie, like a comedy movie, where you watch it and you don't laugh as much, but then like you think about it later and some of the shit makes you crack up for no reason.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It was like that, but in the frame of, well, why did this happen? Wait, why did they do this? Well, why is this like this?
My only real issue was Ned doing magic. I think that was just stupid. Ned doing magic is just dumb.
I think they kind of put it as like the sling ring, you know, was like magic itself. You know, like.
But remember, do you remember watching No Way Home opening Thursday night? It's a packed crowd. Everyone's happy. Like, I don't remember that happening for a lot of the movies. Like, even when they like other ones that went after that had packed crowds.
They were for me.
Yeah, for our town, for our city,
they were.
Unless you go out of town, you'll have a packed crowd. But here, it essentially died out. I would have to say around after Thor 4. Because the crowds are not big as much. No one was there when I watched Quantumania, Black Panther. I had to go see Black Panther 2 because I didn't want to hang myself.
Yeah, I can't remember the order of the movies. Eternals was really packed.
It was, yeah. I remember.
Whenever I went to see it, Thor, the one with Gore, there was not a lot of people there.
Ours was packed, but
I did the same thing like you. I didn't go to Pittsburgh to see that. I went in my town, my small little theater.
Yeah,
which is great because it's awesome. It's $5. Like,
yeah, and sometimes I don't go opening Thursday night for a character that I truly really like. Like I went for MN3 like about 4 days after opening weekend. Some of them I went after, but it's like for Shazam 2. It was literally me and someone else in there watching. There was more people watching Scream 6 than watching Shazam 2.
Dude, you want to know what's great? So, like, when I went to see Deadpool the first day, right?
Yeah.
I looked at, I was going to get tickets to see it in Pittsburgh, right? Because I didn't know if my theater was playing it. And I looked into, they were like all sold out, everything. Like the freaking 3D theater, everything. I called the place, the guy, and he's like, yeah, we're showing it. He's like, it's 7:30. I was like, right. Went in there. Dude, it was me and like 4 other people. I was like, this is awesome. This is fantastic. Sucks for him. He did say they did have a really good weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but like that Thursday, like, dude, it was me and like 3 other people. And what's cool is like that place is really neat because they play through the week. They'll play old stuff. Like for Halloween, they'll do like a whole Universal movie monsters marathon. I've seen the Bela Lugosi Dracula, Frankenstein.
Yeah, mine does that too with like Matrix and Jaws.
Horror movies and stuff like that, which is great. And what else is cool is they do a lot of stuff. Like they had the Trailer Park Boys there. And they were doing like their season of Jail or whatever the heck it was. And they had like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia people there. So they do like premieres of TV there too, which is kind of cool. And it was neat. It was fun.
I want to ask you before we go into the book. Were you a person that ever watched like Saw movies?
I saw the first one. Yeah. My wife is very into them. Well, was. She doesn't. I think the first 3 she liked, but then they started getting ridiculous. I don't know. Like I've only seen the first. I only remember the first one.
Yeah,
but I know I saw Saw 2. I know I saw Saw 2. Yeah, the first one I thought was a great movie. I thought it was
great. Yeah, the second one is not as strong, but it's still not bad. I think the only good ones are the first 2. The rest of them just get like
the first one. Man, it had great casting too. I mean, Carrie Elwes, Michael Emerson. You know, like there was.
Your wife will not like the recent news that came out if she was looking forward to Saw 11.
I don't know because I know she hasn't liked them for a little while, so she might not even.
God, because
she loves horror. She loves horror.
I was gonna have Saw as a topic probably on Wednesday's show. Yeah, the update on that franchise is not good. It's going the way of
Wait, we're gonna talk about Saw on Wednesday's show.
Wednesday? No. I had 2 panel shows. You're on the first one. Good Lord, you're like a person I keep in a cage and I let you out sometimes. You know.
Oh, that's a good thing. That makes sense, doesn't it? You having the cage over me. That sounds exactly like real life.
Reverse racism at its finest. That's
hey now. Wouldn't it just still be racism?
Touche.
How could it be reverse racism?
That was a checkmate. You got me there.
Wouldn't reverse racism be not racism?
MSK, have you ever thought about doing comic book market watches? Is that a thing? You can. I have thought about it. I've contemplated it for. You guys don't even know, weeks on end. I just don't know how to structure it so far. But I think I'm just going to end up biting the bullet and structuring it on this one website that I use called League of Comics Geeks, because there are weeks where certain books will come out and I really want to talk about them, but I don't, and it just kind of gnaws at me. So no, I'll probably end up getting that done hopefully by tonight if I can really get a format of and a structure it down, and the news that you talked about earlier. I want to start doing that again, but it would require me, being even more of a top G and a Riz master. Would you agree?
Or I mean, if you wanted to, like, instead of topics all the time, we could do on one show just the news at the end or at the beginning of a show. Because I would be
you have
down.
good ideas. That's
I
why
would be
have
down
you
for
here.
talking about, like, once a week. We just gather all the news through the week, and boom, here you go.
Yeah,
Here's your
then I can
news
just release
segment.
the segments as clips anyways on the comic channel. Yeah, because coming up this Friday, I might actually Friday. I told him we're gonna do Absolute Wonder Woman #3. But next Tuesday, when does Hush 3 drop? That actually drops next week, doesn't it? That's
The
26th.
25th, right? Is it 25th or 26th?
Okay. So
17th, so it would be the 25th.
That's when we said we're gonna review the Hush trade, right?
Yes, when we're supposed to. Well, we're doing it the day before, the week from today.
Yes. Okay. Just making sure I wrote that down. Yeah. Oh God, man, that book is so beautifully illustrated. Holy
it is
shit.
it is, and it's nice. Every edition that comes out, like a deluxe edition, they're always so freaking nice. And I'm like, God damn it! How many of these things do I have?
The only thing Jim Lee does is produce more Batman Hush collected editions and pretend to run DC. That's all he does now at this point, guys. Saw X was the best one since Saw 3. I did hear that. I have heard that. But oh God, yeah, we'll be talking about it on the second panel show for Wednesday. I do want to give my thoughts about it, but we're going to be getting into
a great version right here. This is a really good one.
Yeah, I have that one. I got it over there.
Yeah, it's really nice.
The same one. Mm-hmm.
God, it's got all those sketches in the back and stuff, and it's got the storyboards and all that. It's really cool.
But let's see. So I have comic book market watches, because that would only be like a once a week thing, technically, if I was going over just newer books. And the reason why it would be a good thing, guys, is because it would kind of just go over general pricing like I usually did. Now, I will obviously say this in my first one. Just because I'm going over a book's price and name and whatever doesn't mean I've read the book. I'm just telling you it's coming out and this is the price, and I'll just move on. Because I'm not one of those guys that, I don't know how people can fake shit they don't know. If I don't know something, I'm just honest. I don't know.
I'll just be like, I haven't read it yet, or I don't know yet.
But this is coming out if you like this book, title, property, something like that. Yeah.
Like I ended up reading one of the, I guess you could say, else worlds or whatever you want to call it. And I read this and I thought this was great. But it was the Tom Taylor Dark Knights of Steel. Have you read this?
No, but I do know the name.
It's fun. So basically it's like a retelling of the DC lore, but in medieval times.
That's cool as hell. That sounds pretty cool. Okay.
Like they have like Superman and Batman are not related. Like, I don't want to ruin it. They're not related.
Are they having sex with Wonder Woman?
No. One's a prince. One's like the head of like the guardian, the security. And what's neat is how they use the Joker in it. That's very interesting. I don't want to ruin anything, but if you read this, it's actually pretty good. There's 12 issues and you can get these really cheap. These are really good. So check it out. It's actually
to spend my EBT money on comic books.
EBIT money is monies too. It's all dollars.
Oh God. When someone says that food stamps are not taxed, I'm like, okay, all right, I guess. It's like you're talking to a moron and you know you're talking to a moron, but your brain is just like, you know what? Okay, believe whatever you want. I'm not kidding, guys. There was a person that literally told me that food stamps wasn't taxed. And I was like, do you know where that money comes from? Yeah, just,
everything is taxed.
I can't believe they literally thought it came out of thin air. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Are you guys morons? Like, man, there was this guy that called someone's work because they had a line. We were at a Chick-fil-A and the line was long. And we heard a guy on the phone call the business to tell the person running the floor that they had a long line at the drive-thru.
Eric the Guapo says, there is not one good Spider-Man movie. You all know that. People are just making excuses to like the movies because they are happy to see the Spider-Man costume. He was Iron Lad, not Spider-Man.
You know the Tom Holland movies?
Yeah, I was saying because I like the first two Tobey Maguire
I
Spider-Man
like the first
movies.
two Tobey Maguire Spider-Man
And
movies. Yeah.
y'all even go out on a I like the first Garfield one. He just acted like he was like too cool. Like he
The
wasn't
first one is
an
fine.
outcast.
Yeah.
He wasn't an
Yeah.
outcast, put it that way. He doesn't have to be like, he could be whatever to anybody, but he wasn't an outcast as much as I didn't believe it.
I think the only truly bad Spider-Man movies, one of these things, we have to rank them because I've seen literally all of them. If I had a ranking, go off the top of my head, it would be probably Far From Home or Amazing Spider-Man 2. Those would be tied because I think they're both about
I'd say Spider-Man 3. It still just was not good to me.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3 would be 4th. I would have Homecoming.
It would be
after that. I would go Amazing Spider-Man 2, Far From Home, Homecoming, Spider-Man 3. Then after that, you get Across the Spider-Verse somewhere in there, the animated ones, but Miles Morales, because those are theatrical releases. I like those. Those were good.
I still like those.
Did you like the second one that came out, Across the Spider-Verse? I thought that was good. I only seen it once, but I thought it was fine, honestly. Yeah.
I have both. I bought both Steelbook. Oh, speaking
that first
of
one
buying
is
Steelbooks, guess what I bought today? I bought the Akira Special Edition Steelbook. I was very happy about that.
Guapo, Michael trolling Spider-Man 3. Jesus.
Listen, I know people that love that movie.
I don't get it.
I know people that love that movie.
It's a movie that has high highs, but way too many lows, honestly.
There's
way too many lows. Yeah. But the first two Tobey ones, Tommy.
But all the stuff that people hate about that movie is the stuff that I find hilarious. Topher Grace as freaking Eddie Brock is hilarious to me. I don't even look at it as bad.
You know what's crazy that I found out about that movie? It's so stupid. I don't get people do such cognitive dissonance when it comes to Spider-Man 3. It's okay, we mostly agree the first two are really, really good. So obviously, if people didn't like the third one, there is something obviously wrong with it. Now, I'm not saying your opinion's wrong. I'm just saying that if a bunch of people collectively saw there was a massive problem with it, then obviously just from an objective point of view, not saying you can't subjectively like it, it's not as good as the other two. And it's actually not as good by a long shot. It's really not good, guys. Because one of the things that was so cringe in it, as you brought up, so Eddie Brock is mad that Peter took his girl, but she clearly told him they weren't dating and they just had coffee.
Well,
in the comic books, weren't they dating they were legit boyfriend and girlfriend or some shit?
Right.
What the hell? That's stupid.
And the job part too. Didn't he get him with the pictures or some shit like that?
God, it was so cringe watching this guy say, "You took my girl. She said you had coffee."
Yeah. Oh, that. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just here's the I look at it as it's whatever. And, Guapo says, I just don't like the movies. They usually do not do the character justice. So I was about 10 minutes.
That's fine, man.
It's about that. No, you're fine. I mean, if you don't like,
man. No worries.
What the movies are, I mean, that's perfectly fine. I look at it as the first movie, the first Tobey Maguire movie. That is very much, in my opinion, the Stan Lee Spider-Man. You go back and read those, and it is
oh my god,
it's very similar to it. Not saying every single thing they do, but it is very reminiscent. And the Ditko run, I don't think they really do much in that frame until was it No Way Home or whatever the last one is, where he puts on the suit at the end and you're like, it's the Ditko suit. And it's please actually do some of that, but they're not going to, because
he's self-sufficient on his own. We spent so many movies with this guy
it's just
being sufficient on someone else. Iron Boy Jr., that was his common nickname.
Yeah, well, that's why I said Guapa said he's just Iron Lad. And I can agree with that. The MCU Spider-Man, I can completely agree with that.
MCU Spider-Man overall, if you look at it, it's just a letdown. Because keep in mind, the only reason why he's there is because the Amazing Spider-Man 2 was such an unbelievably bad movie and it didn't do as well box office wise. Sony was like, hey, MCU, let's kind of work together. Hey, let's kind of get on your cloud. Sony is such a disgusting company. The only reason why he's there is because they tanked their own Spider-Man franchise. And they
all you have to say is just look at the stuff that they've put out in that universe, but without Spider-Man.
God, man.
That's all you got to do is just look at that and you'll have a bunch of answers. You'll have
Such
a lot of answers, actually.
Such leeching pieces of shit, dude. The only reason why he's there is because they failed with Andrew Garfield's movies. And
you'd think, good, sorry.
No, fine.
And you'd think like it's such an easy character that has so many good runs that like that's why I always say like I'm sick and tired of seeing other people's vision for the character, right? You can have a vision for the story, but the character should always be Spider-Man. It should always reflect Spider-Man. That's ingrained into people. If you want to, here's the thing: if you want to do the Clone Saga, fine, make your own vision of it. But Spider-Man has to be Spider-Man. That's the problem, and that's like the biggest problem I have with a lot of the superhero movies. And I'm watching these guys.
You know what the best comic book movie is? 300. Oh, interesting. In some scenes, it is panel for panel the same as the comic. So that's my thing when it comes to comic book movies: is does the average person want, like, let's say if they were doing an absolute Batman animated movie, they don't do a live action. The DC's not that smart. Would someone want the entire first movie of the first 5 issues
panel for
panel,
like how manga goes to like?
I think there's some middle ground with it, because I know a lot of people have said
because you're reading and stationary pictures compared to a film medium, you need things that fill in those gaps. Like you can have, in my opinion, if you have the 5 major points from said run, right? You have A, B, C, D, E, F, right? You can fill in those gaps with things that move along the story because you're seeing it in a visual and audio medium. But those major points better be, in my opinion, stuff that I can go, that's where that's from. That is from this book, and this is the story they are telling. For me, that's how I look at stuff. That's why I said, like, I'm so sick of seeing other people's vision for that character. It lends to look at what's happening with Lord of the Rings. Look what's happening with Lord of the Rings. Look what's happening with the Wheel of Time. Like, Wheel of Time, dude, is one of my favorite book series ever. I have the whole freaking thing down here.
Entire thing? You're insane.
Oh, I was reading it, dude. I started reading that in like 1993 or 4. And I was reading when books would come out, like, boom, like I would go get them that day. And you watch that show, and it is such an abomination.
Yeah, because when it comes to like manga and anime, manga to anime, they do change some stuff.
They changed some things, but it's literally
but it's not super unrecognizable to the point where, like, if you do a comic book movie to a comic book, then it's like, you know, it's literally not even close to the same. You know,
the only thing they do that's totally different is filler.
Yeah,
let the chapters go ahead and stuff like that. Like, and sometimes there are some filler arcs that are okay. There are some that are okay, but most of them are not.
Most filler. I have this unpopular opinion for filler. I think they should just not do it and then just wait to make, like, if you're
they don't do that. Japan is straightforward with. There are no breaks in TV.
No, I know. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And they're like literally like when they do Power Rangers or Super Sentai there, right? When that last episode hits, right? They usually do like a movie that goes to theaters. That's for that. As soon as that's done, dude, that next show is started. That's it. They do the team up movie to introduce the new people, and then boom, 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 boom. Usually that's why there's like 49 to 50, because those couple of weeks that you would have the 52 out of the year is because they did a movie and then the team up, and then boom, they're right into it. That's how they've been forever. Like all the time.
Because, like, man, looking at the way they have their Super Sentai, Power Rangers, what do you want to call it, set up compared to how we have nothing here. Now at this point for our Power Rangers, we just have to rely off comic books, which is not bad, but it's like, damn, feels like it's just over. Like an end of an era. This will be like
It'll first come year. Back, dude. It'll come back.
You think so?
It will, because, dude, look how long it was away for, a while, and they'll find a series. Someone will go like this. Oh, hey, remember that made money? Let's try to do this.
You're saying Amazon will take it.
Like, if they do, then it's done. If Amazon takes it, that show is done. Unless they literally just do like a translation of the Super Sentai. It's done.
God, man. Yeah, because you know how the average person, when they talk about anime and manga, they enjoy that it's very synergistic with everything. Now, keep in mind, dialogue and translation are the biggest problems with anime because, like, when it comes to like voice acting and all that stuff, that's the only real issue. But you're talking about just from a manga to anime standpoint, no, the synergy is what people generally like about it.
What
But when it
people,
comes to,
yes, right.
yeah, it's
Because
just
like one of the animes that you're big into, Naruto, I was big into
mhm,
them. That was one of the mangas that I read like when when
mhm.
Shonen Jump first was getting bigger in the US, it was at there was I don't know if you remember Suncoast Video. Did you ever?
No.
Okay, so that's probably way before your time. So
You're
that
saying
was
I'm
like a
old?
no, but that was like I remember in like 99, 98 that there was a video store called Suncoast Video, right? And they would have anime. And you would get them, in the video cassette thing. But next to that, they would have these little leaflets. It wasn't a full Shonen Jump. It was like, remember that thing in school? You could like order a book. You would like give the money, cut out the thing, and order a book.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
So on this version, it would be like, here's the animes that we can order for you, and here's the stuff that's coming out, right? And
It
I
reminds me of like
remember,
Right Stuff anime. I remember that. Yeah.
so they had also at the back of it, here's the books, here's the manga, but they didn't call it manga. They said, here's the books, because people didn't know unless you were, otaku and knew all that stuff, you didn't know what that was. I didn't know what it was, to be honest. And I was a huge comic book fan. I knew the Japanese had comics, but I didn't know, I just thought Japanese comics.
Yeah.
So like, whenever I first started reading Naruto, I think it was like the 15th issue, 15th weekly issue or monthly issue, whatever had come out, right? Because it would always be like 16 pages. And it was like, I started reading it and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I found a place that, illegally, it was called Naruto Verse, I believe, that you could read it week to week. Someone would translate it and have it up like 2 hours afterwards. And that's whenever team translations became, in my opinion, better than what was properly released, because these people actually spoke Japanese and knew the inflections in English to make it make sense. So like if you downloaded something where like DB subs, data bio, right? Because that's what he would always be like, data bio, like that whole thing. That's where they called it. It was called data bio subs. They did like the first like 150 episodes of the Naruto anime.
Do you prefer it being sub to dub? Because
subbed is so much better.
I know people always say it sounds elitist, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. There are some English dubs that are completely fine. They've gotten better with the years.
There are some that are good.
Fine. Yeah,
like Cowboy Bebop has a great dub.
Yeah,
I think it has a great dub, but I've always watched it subtitled because when I was getting
the sub voices, they feel more dynamic. The scores are always better. Like,
so
I'm just
what
saying,
I feel is
that's
this.
me.
What I feel is this: I don't get the character inflection that matches the animation that I'm looking at. When I hear that Japanese voice, whether it's screaming or yelling, it matches what the fuck the character is doing. And it's easy once you've read for so long, I can look at the screen, focus on the characters, and I can still, out of my peripheral bottom vision, read what's happening.
Yeah, because
I don't have to stare at it and then look back up, stare at it, look back up. Now, it happened like that whenever I first started getting back into anime. Whenever they were selling DVDs, I would buy like English dub stuff. But whenever I finally was like, dude, I don't want to wait this 4 months. Like this one anime it came out, it was called Last Exile, right? I didn't want to wait the like 4 months and I knew the episodes were out. So I went and, I was downloading them illegally, torrenting them, and I started doing it. And I was like, once I got used to reading it all the time, and, I was like, oh, this is easy. Like, and plus, like I said, the character, it matches the character inflection, they're animating it for those voices. And I don't know. Like I said, there are dubs that are fine. If you like dub, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
English dub animes are completely fine. It's just there's benefits to, I guess you could say, going that extra mile and watching it sub, because not only do you get the episodes earlier if you're watching it subbed, you could read the manga, which literally chapters are getting released, weekly or bi-weekly, actually. I think the other thing for me is, I'll use Yu-Gi-Oh! For example. Like when they had the 4Kids dub, I've watched it, most of it subbed. and it's
Mhm.
just better. I'm just saying, people. It's one of these things where
Those major shows like that are always better. Are always better, in
yeah,
my opinion, subbed.
yeah,
Because
because
they
you
dumb
have
them down for the kids. Plus, you don't get
yeah.
the full. There's usually 2 to 3 minutes missing per
Yeah,
episode
because
because,
you'll
like,
have
the way
people that'll
commercial
say the
breaks
same
are
thing
and
that
stuff.
you said, where it's like, well, I don't want to just sit there and look at the screen. Doesn't that just confirm you're just a lazy person? And keep in
Yes.
mind, that means you're literally not even trying to pay attention. Because I get it, you can just put on a dub and not pay attention. But why are you putting on stuff you're not paying attention to? That's just stupid, in my opinion. You want to like pay attention to what you're watching. I hope you would,
I
right?
like subtitled anime, and I
Yeah,
have tons of anime, dude. You should see
like I
my
love
anime
anime. I
collection
really do,
compared to
but
my comic book collection. It's
like when
pretty
you have people calling
ridiculous.
people, oh, well, you're just a sub purist. Yeah, I feel like the voice acting is better. I feel like the dynamic of what they're talking about is better. I feel like the score. Have you actually heard the scores in the subs compared to like the dub changes some like character scores, whatever? It's better. Listen
That and
to
it's like
go ahead.
clear tracked audio over top of regular audio sounds awful.
Yeah, and I get it. There are some themes for characters in English dub that I like, but I'm saying if
Yeah,
you're
there's
asking me,
I don't
9 times
think
out of
there's a
10, I'm
problem with it.
preferring subbed and I'm preferring subbed. It's just a better
Yeah, I
experience.
have
It's a
no
much better product.
I'll say this. I don't even entertain those arguments because if someone wants to argue with me about what I like to watch, then you can go suck the fucking back of my nuts
That sounds awesome. Hell yeah.
because I just don't
Or
care. Like, that's fine.
well, I know you've
I
seen
don't see.
Bleach, right? You've seen Bleach, right?
Yes. Yes.
You know Aizen's English dub voice, which is fine, versus his Japanese voice. His Japanese
Japanese.
voice is way better. Makes
So
him
much
actually sound
better.
like he's insanely sinister. He's the
Yes.
mentally sinister person.
Yes, the English voice dude sounds like he's a Sunday school
He sounds like
teacher.
he sounds super calculated, but you know someone of his magnitude is sinister. You know they would
No,
sound
dude,
like that.
he sounds like a fucking Sunday school teacher to me.
I think it's okay if he has the glasses, but when he's
Dude,
like
the
when he takes them
Kenpachi
off,
stuff, dude, is so much about who do you think of?
yeah. Oh
You know,
god,
I don't
man.
know, it's just guttural and then whenever you hear him in English, he's like sounds like he's like playing a trick on you, like he's gonna tie you to the railroad tracks. Like,
Man.
haha, yeah, now I got him.
Or just
Twisting his
we'll do one
mustache
more
and shit.
before we get to the review, which
Mm.
is Dragon Ball GT. I've seen some episodes of Dragon Ball GT sub. I've seen all of it's dubbed. Guys, I can see why people didn't like GT. If you only watch the dub version, it's not good. Its sub version's better. I'm gonna say it's a better anime. It's still a very mid anime with a lot of problems. But man, these English, I think English dub versus subbed is one of the most overrated debates in nerd fandom. Subbed is just better by far. It's really not that close. The only reason why people like dubs is because it's just in their native language. I think that's what it mostly boils down to. You like it in your native tongue, so you like watching things in your native tongue, which is not wrong. That's a completely fine way to look at things. But to say it's better is just stupid if we're looking at just from every objective point of view that there is when it comes to an anime. You know, like if you are going like, I can't watch because there's subtitles there.
Yeah,
So you wouldn't.
that's listen, if someone doesn't want to, that's their choice. They don't want to do it, that's fine. But I'm not going to tell someone what is better. I'm going to say what's better for me is that
Mhm.
I just know that whenever I watch anime and it's in English, I don't know. There's just something about it. It doesn't sound right to me. But I've also been watching anime, like I said, since like one of the first animes I ever got was called Black Magic M66.
Is that my wife?
Sure. If that's what you want to call her, fine.
God.
Is
You
that
think
the
my wife
product?
is
Is that the
Black
product
Magic?
number on her?
God.
Is that the product
That's
number?
her barcode. That's her
Yeah.
QR code you scan.
So like, and it was this cool little movie, right? And
Yeah.
I think I got it in like 1996, and it was subtitled. And someone had used the old Apple
Mhm.
movie maker to put the subtitles on.
Mhm.
And they did it, I think digitally, and then put it to a VHS tape because you could tell it didn't look right. It had the black barcoding around it, and I could tell it was someone like that. Now, when I look back on it, I could tell like, oh, someone did that. That wasn't professionally done. So whenever I watched Black Magic M66, and I was like, I saw the subtitles, like, oh, it was very close, but that one holds like it was close to my heart because it was one of the first animes I'd ever seen. And like Vampire Hunter D, I saw like in 1990, and it was just, I don't know, because I saw it in English, Vampire Hunter D, and I was like, that was one I'll watch in English because that's how I first saw it. But when I saw it in Japanese, I was like, oh, this is much better. I don't know. I like things in their native language. And if reading is such a chore, then wait for the dub. Go ahead. I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
Like, why
I
is
just
that
prefer
even an
not to wait.
argument? Like, I don't understand. Like, shouldn't it be what your watching habit is, whether you like it or not? Why am I
Yeah.
trying to like be like, you don't like the dub? Fuck you, man. Like, you're stupid. Like, what does that even mean? Like, you're watching the same show. Shouldn't you say, oh, that's a good show?
Well, for me, it always just boils down to like, because the problem with dubs is they mistranslate things, and I know it's not their
there
fault
are things that
intentionally.
they mistranslate.
So, like, you have people
100%.
that will talk about animes, but it's misinterpreted from the English dub most of the time.
Does it make
And
that big of an impact though on the whole?
I guess it
episode?
depends. That if you're talking with someone about actually going over like actual content, like what does this mean, like a fight or narrative setup, I think it matters. Because I think if you're not getting the actual accurate information, then you'll be led misaccurately. But if you're just a normal casual, I don't think it matters, honestly. If you're just a normal fucking person, then
I just didn't know if it made that big of an impact to the whole like episode. Like, are you going to be thinking something completely different than someone else who saw that episode? Now, I can understand nuance and maybe something was said differently. I can understand that. That makes sense. Trust me, I'm with you on that. I am a subtitle watcher. Even with my regular movies, if I'm watching a foreign film, I always turn on subtitles and turn on whatever native language it is. But I also used to watch like tons of kung fu movies. Like I used to watch like Jet Li movies. Like, dude, that were just, some of them are so bad, but I love them. And like, I always watched them subtitled. So I just never had that.
And that's why I said it's only going to matter if you're just a casual. Like if you're someone and we're like talking and someone has a mistranslated thing that they thought was true because their native, the English dub said it was, then it's like, oh, I didn't know what I was talking about because I was misled. But then again, that only applies to like cringy, smelly, fat, worthless nerds, Now, I'm a Giga Chad. That doesn't apply to me, obviously.
I mean, I'm definitely a giant nerd. I'll wear that.
God,
dude, I have a fucking Street Fighter headband I won in a tournament. I came in 3rd place and I still have it and I wear it. That's what a dork I am.
Gosh. All right.
So there's that.
We're going to get to this in just a moment.
Drink that in, everybody.
Don't worry, guys. We just have to review this today because there's too much stuff to explain with Batman to get into a topic. We usually would do a topic, but then again, it's just there's too much here. It's juicy.
There's a lot of Batman.
You gotta just lick it.
Please never do that again, or I will come through the internet and beat your face in. Yeah, that's white rage. That's white rage.
Yeah, I was gonna say something really, really gay, but then again, I'm so intellectually straight that it doesn't matter.
Dude, it wouldn't even come across gay. You're so straight.
That's true. Danny, I have a reverse Uno card there, just like reverse racism.
So you mean racism?
Yes. God, man. It's like those people that say like, you're not educated. And it's like, oh my God. I had this conversation with someone on Twitter because that's the best place to have conversations with, obviously. And first was, you're not educated. You don't believe in the science. No, I don't believe in random things. People just say science proved this when in reality it didn't. People like that'll use default arguments like, oh my God, science proved it. It's like, no, it didn't. What the fuck?
Well, that's why
shit.
That's why a lot of things are saying like the Big Bang Theory or the theory of relativity, because it's what we think we know, but it is not 100% proven. Now, whether you choose to believe, I just don't understand why that affects people. The only one that gets me, is the flat Earth shit. It's like, dude.
That one objectively makes no sense because we know that the Earth is a sphere. We just saw a video recently. It was on Twitter where Elon Musk had it was SpaceX. They had a satellite over the Earth, and you could literally see it spherical. You could literally see it.
They literally think that we have ready for this. They think we have the technology to 24 hours a day get CGI to be that perfect, but yet we have a Red Hulk that looks like that, as opposed to the perfect. The guy whoever's doing that CGI is like, fuck, man, this is the worst job ever. This is 24 hours a day. This sucks. And then you go, well, why is it? I always say, okay, you're right. The earth is flat. Okay. We got it. Now what? Does that change your everyday life? Now what?
It's that literal argument of the person just trying to be different. That's all that argument is. I'm not saying you doing that, but it's like, that's the argument. I'm just trying to be different.
How do they explain where, like, if you go from like California to Japan, you go this way, right? And then when Japan wants to go to England, they still go this way. But yet, if I'm in New Jersey and I want to go to England, I go this way.
Like, have you guys seen the moon? Like, that's why I couldn't believe the flat earth arguments, because you've seen full moons in your life, right? So if anyone's seen a full moon and the moon is kind of reflective of the earth, well, if that's a sphere that we're seeing, what is the earth?
Well, why is every other planet that, but not ours?
I don't get it.
I don't know. Anyway, that's the only one. All the rest of the stuff I can just put off and be like, hey, that's what you believe. Whatever.
Yeah, I could believe that, NASA
you want to be a complete
maybe
fucking
lied.
retard. Yeah. That's fine. That's perfectly fine with me. But that one, that just for some reason it just set him off, guys. Sticks with me for some reason. And it's like one of the best ones that they were like, why isn't it called the Flat Mars? Why isn't there a Flat Mars Society? And the Flat Earth Twitter was like, well, asshole, Mars has been observed to be round. And I'm like, all right, I've had enough.
Give me 1 second. You're fine.
No, that's good. Everybody like my new Thor statue? Look at him. Look at him in all his gloriosity. He's doing his best Axl Rose. Yeah, that's how old I am.
Are you saying that he's a whore? You know, that's the crazy thing, man. With Thor 4, they missed out on the perfect title for an MCU movie. 4 whores. No? Okay. You don't get my humor. It's fine. It's fine.
I just don't get it. Who are the 4 whores?
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Good joke.
Yep. You could have just called it 4 whores and make people laugh, but no, they had to call it Thor Love and Trash.
Who are the 4 whores? Who would they be? Would that be what? Would it be Thor, Girl Thor, Gore, and the new queen of what, Valkyrie? Is that one of them? Is she one of the whores? Or what Frank Reynolds? Whores? Is she one of the whores? Goddamn whores. I don't know, man. Thor 4 was terrible.
They could have just called it 5 cream, or what was it for Scream? They could have called it 6 creams. Great creative titles here. Whores and creaming.
Dude, I'm getting one of those. For you.
All right. But we do have to get to this because I have another show to do in a little bit here.
How it is. I see how
I have to go talk to a black guy. Another white
make me hurry up and wait, and then it's like, well, now that's it. Let's go.
What? I'm joking. But let's get into it. We literally still have 30 minutes left anyway. Or do we? Or do I have to get to my wife and have sex with her?
Well, you better get over that barcode first.
Ah, shit. That QR code didn't go
through. Dude, she might not self-inflate. You're gonna be back there like
legend says she's not real.
Oh, she's definitely tangible.
All right, let's get right into it. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a comic book review on Absolute Batman number 5. So if you guys have not had a chance to check out our previous comic book reviews on Absolute Batman issues 1 through 4, I would highly recommend you guys go and check out our previous comic book reviews on the other issues of Absolute Batman issues 1 through 4. That way you guys can understand how we felt about each different issue leading up to this one. And this one is going to be the conclusion of the first arc for Absolute Batman, titled the zoo, you know? So I'll ask you, Mr. Laps comic fan, how do you feel about the first issue with me being black? Just joking, guys. Obviously joking, but no, in all seriousness, how do you feel about, Absolute Batman ending on issue number 5? Yeah.
Well, I think the arc ended fine. I don't know why they ended. They're ending this arc called Zubin. They didn't really tie up anything. It's still going to continue, unless something else is coming in and they're going to name it something else, which is perfectly fine because everything is written for trades. That's just what they do. But I will say this: thank God Nick Dragotta was back for this art because man, that last book. I thought that story in the last book was incredible.
It was really good.
The art just sucked.
They hired a person out of a sweatshop in the Philippines, and they paid him like 3 pennies a page to draw that bad. And I'm not saying that guy can't improve his art. I'm not thinking he shouldn't be on any more books in the mainstream.
No, I'm going to say he's not. Trash. He should never be on any books ever again. Like, you're at a major publisher, and that's what you drew.
Which is crazy is, like, DC or any of the editors in like all these fucking books that they have on thought they couldn't pay anyone a decent wage to just
like
over that person. It's just insane.
You have all of these amazing artists. You know what I mean? Like, you're telling me that like Dan Mora couldn't have just been
they
like,
have Dan Mora on everything. They can't just pay him extra to do that.
Give me a few, days, and here you go. It's not like it's not like it was action heavy to the point where you needed like these incredible panels. It was more story driven, and he draws emotion on characters so good that it could have used something. I don't know if Dragotta could have carried out the emotion. That was it. He would have done it better. But if they had like Dan Mora doing it, dude, that might have made it the best issue of the whole freaking 5 issues. This issue, why I say is great.
I just don't get why they wasted that great issue on art like that, but that's just how Marvel and DC do it. They're just boneheaded retards. But going back to Absolute Batman number 5. So for me personally, this was let's say a nice kind of ending, continuational book going into the next arc. So at the time of us doing this comic book review for Absolute Batman number 5, Absolute Batman number 6 is dropping actually. So it's nice that we'll be able to, kind of continue on with the book now that we're all caught up. And this is kind of a thing I want for any kind of book we're doing for ongoing series. Next one we're going to be probably tackling after like the Hush stuff is Absolute Superman as well. But for at least Batman and Scott Snyder, I thought overall the first arc was fine. I thought it was pretty good. It kept me interested. Every time I opened up one of these Absolute Batman issues, I felt like I was going to get something new, but something unique and something exciting. For this issue personally, I feel like it ends off just kind of in the same spot that it began, which isn't really anything bad, but you kind of already know it's like, okay, this is going to continue, but it doesn't feel like it changed anything. It's just going to be the same shit.
I see. I know what you're saying, but I differ in opinion. Because
really? I thought you agreed with everything I say, and you absolve everything I say.
The way that it ended is basically Gotham is going to be in a free-for-all with chaos and anarchy because billions of dollars are up for grabs. And that is 100% a perfect time to insert the Joker because chaos is going to be reigning and blood will be spilling in Gotham.
Yeah. And then we also had other things in here that were great. I mean, obviously, Nick Dragotta being back on the book and drawing it made it better. Other than that sweatshop artist they hired in the Philippines for 3 pennies a page. I thought that this double page spread as one of the ads looked honestly really, really good. This was great. I don't know. That was amazing. You had basically Bruce getting something to make a point out of it. The only last thing in the book that kind of confused me a little bit, maybe you could help me with it, was that analogy that Black Mask gave with like these pigs that he used to kind of kill and raise over the years.
Saying that this is what he's saying, and this won't ruin anything. Basically, he's saying the pig didn't know it was going to die, but when you succumb to death, there's this one thing that you can do and hit that spot. So the money is that ecstasy spot. But you're still probably going to die because the chaos is coming. The death is inevitable for what he is enacting next. That's basically what he's saying.
Also, this book did the thing that Justice League Unlimited did, where they give you, at the end of the book, when the story's over, when the first arc's finished, they give you this 2-page preview of Zatanna #1 for the DC All-In. I really don't know why they're charging people extra money, or at least $1 more or $2 more in some books, to have these 2-page extra previews for an upcoming book. I get it. Using the Batman book to kind of sell a lesser known character to some degree. Zatanna's like not exactly lesser known, but
they didn't charge me extra.
Oh no, just in theory, like I imagine, we'll just give you 2 pages extra and we'll charge them more. But I understand utilizing the Batman book to sell another character because they know people are going to read the Batman book. But it's like, do people actually read these 2-page extras and care, or are they just done afterwards?
I'm sure people read it just to see, but I doubt they care. The problem I have is this: they're now using Batman, like these popular books, to sell these non-popular main universe books. I would keep, if you're gonna do the absolute universe, you should be propping up the absolute books. That's what it should be.
Which cover did you get? I got this one.
Mine are in bagged already.
Oh, you're reading.
I downloaded. I have that one, but I also have another one.
The back images of Alfred right there and Black Mask look good.
Cool.
Look great.
Yes.
You know, there was
I had to buy it digitally today.
It's fine. You're good. You can send your digital money to me because you owe me child support payments for not taking care of me.
I mean, sure. How much money do you want?
$1.
That's it.
I can buy a stick of gum with that. Just kidding. So
that's
something. Dude, there was someone that said, "Oh, I just couldn't read the book," and I was like, "Why?" He says because they made Alfred look like Ra's al Ghul, and I'm like, this is an alternate universe. It's nothing main continuity. You get that line of freedom if it's not mainline continuity. That's kind of why they kind of do these things.
They made his mustache and beard look like Ra's al Ghul.
That's
but what does it matter? Oh, he looks like this character. Okay,
so now I must not read the book at all. And it's like, are you
I don't understand how that ruins the story.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, you have weird people like that where it's like, he looks like Ra's al Ghul, so I can't read the book. It's like, you're a baby. You're like, I don't usually say that, but you're an actual child. That is childish. It's actually just stupid. But overall, for the first arc, enjoyed it. It was paced very well. The dynamic between the flashbacks was really cool. The heartfelt moments he had with his dad were good. But going into this issue, it starts off with him at the doctor's because he had that incident in his life where the bats kind of bit him a little bit when, he was trapped in that room when his dad put him in there, obviously, to end up dying to Joe Chill. And the imagery of this bat right there, I thought was pretty cool. And that last line he has, that should be the end of the bats, because throughout all the issues, he's just always inner monologuing to himself. And usually that can kind of go hit or miss. But I feel like every time he was inner monologuing throughout all the books, even this one was fine. It was more interesting. You kind of connected to the character a little bit more. You kind of got into his psyche a lot more, So then after that, you get this nice, cool 2-page spread, The Zoo, Part 5, and you guys know what happens in my life when I go to the zoos. Women tend to end up following me there, and they try to sleep with me all the time.
Oh.
No,
I thought
you don't
were
believe
going
me.
to say something else.
Oh, no. I was going to say what you thought I was going to say, but I would get banned off YouTube saying that. So we left off from issue number 4 with basically Black Mask offered Batman a certain amount of money to basically take it and stand down, basically stop being Batman. So then Batman, throughout that entire issue 4, was contemplating it and about what he could do with it and all the other things in his life that led him to end up being Batman. So then we get to this issue where you have him kind of circling around that area that he told him to meet back in issue 3 if he wanted to take the money. And then you have like Alfred kind of talking to himself about what he thinks Batman's going to do because he's kind of cornered in that aspect. And then goes to another part of the book where Gordon is talking to.
I like how the dude whose hand he cut off is there.
I noticed that too. Yeah, he's
just like kind of like
fucked.
I'm still here. Please don't cut off my other hand.
God, man. Then I'm pretty sure that's Bruce's mom.
Yes.
Where she is talking to Gordon about, running for mayor still. And the other aspect of it that I thought was, Gordon's like, hey, we can still end up doing something with a certain situation. He was kind of sad that another situation kind of ended up the way it did. But he basically said this whole memorial light thing is going to be canceled. This was kind of the anniversary day of that. And that Bruce is probably going to be very disappointed with that. But then that ties in later on. So after that,
he's all sad that Harvey Bullock is basically with Hill, with the ex-mayor Hill. He's on his side, and he's like, I didn't see that one coming. And we got to tell Bruce that we're not lighting his dad's memorial. Fuck. I'm old. I'm too old for this shit.
Isn't
2 days away from retirement, and they pull me back in.
To Gordon too much. That's you inside eternally. You're a black white man.
Sure.
Gosh.
Call me Whitey.
So after that, like I mentioned earlier, before we started going through the book's content, this double page spread was amazing. I think that you use it all the time. I don't know who drew that, but it's art by Fico Othio. Great. Honestly, amazing. So then, as what these books do for the first arc, you've had these 5 issues where it just flashes from present, past, mid-present in its brain all over the place. But it's never like jumbled to the point where it's confusing. It's always pretty consistent in the line of the narrative they're trying to sell you throughout the book. So you get back to the past again. You're at his dad's funeral right here where Gordon tells Bruce, hey, that zoo where your dad died, we're going to be shutting it down for something more practical. Then it flashes back to the present again with Bruce basically kind of surrendering on this rooftop to meet Black Mass to get this money. And then Black Mass basically tells him, hey, you want the money and you have it. So anything you want with it is yours. You can have planes, cars, anything. And Bruce says, I already spent it all. Like, what'd you spend it on? He basically got all the money right there in a absolute Batman symbol and then lit it on fire in the sky. Very similar to like The Dark Knight Rises when Bruce came back and he lit that skyscraper on fire with the Batman symbol. Don't know how he got up there and did that, but nevertheless,
that's a kind of big pile of money. Comes back to like the Long Halloween.
Yeah, right there. Awesome page right there. That was
it's cool.
Man, this was amazing right there. And the tension and the grittiness of this issue, the action was there again. Black Mask is like, that's one ugly bat. Because people, I guess that's a joke because no one really likes that symbol. I think it's still kind of chunky and ugly. But he orders all of his men to attack because the deal's off. And then Batman starts taking on all those thugs again. The one thug that hit the hand that he cut off with.
That was awesome. Guy got the dude. So the thug jumps on Batman's back, right? And if you remember from the first issue, whenever he does like the get the hell out of here thing and all the spikes come out of him, that dude like gets on his back and then Batman does that. All these spikes just go through that dude. And he is just like, please, sir, will you let me down? Please let me down.
That guy who had his hand cut off with Batman's axe in issue 1, he got so hard fucked. God, man, holy shit. This Batman is brutal. Like, he threw a bat knife into the end of guy's
end of his cape, right through this dude, right above his kneecap.
Oh, and then my goodness. And then the dialogue before that, where he says, see, Roman, I don't need cars or planes or computers. I don't need anything at all you have. I don't need anything you have. All I need is Batman. Just absolute cold line before he just starts wailing in on these party animals. And then the guy where the spikes of his bat suit went through, he says he's stuck, and obviously I would say Batman should have just killed him there because this Batman kills anyway. He wants him to get him. He wants him to get him.
Who does he killed?
Technically, oh god,
technically nobody. No.
It feels like these guys are dead.
Even Alfred makes the point of like he hits all these he hits vital spots but misses.
He's very violent.
He is. They should have made him kill. They honestly should have, because that would have made him so different. It would have brought back to like the 1940s Batman, who just used guns and used to hang people from helicopters and parade them around New York City. It was great. It's a good time.
So then you have him talking about every single thing the party animals were doing, of murder and all that stuff. And he says, you don't care about how many people die. And then he just threw that one guy onto the ground. Oh my God, that guy's dead. He tossed that guy's fucking fried. Or if he's not dead,
he picks him up with the thing and just wham, smashes him down. And how ridiculous is it that they catch him in a net? They just they throw a net on him. What?
Yeah, you would think his spikes could just go through it, unless these are super powerful nets that we don't know about.
Right. They could be like some sort of, nobody cuts my line type of nets.
Mm-hmm. So then after that, because it was set up earlier that there were snipers and other people with like shotguns on the roof, they start shooting at him more. The suit, you can tell it's not really taking that much damage, but then they said, hey, let's just kind of blow the nets on him. And then but these nets kind of strain him down. Like they're not the usual nets, right there at the bottom.
They're definitely very hard strength nets. It's just the fact of being in a net.
Oh yeah.
Like it's so Ninja Turtles, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like the Saturday morning cartoon, you see these Ninja Turtles and they got swords and stuff. And what do? They run over to the wall and they chop a rope and the chandelier falls down and you're like, I can't get out. I don't ever actually use the actual weapon.
So then Batman gets close to Black Mask after getting caught. He grabs his pants right there, and that will be explained later on. But then after that, Black Mask just kind of, breaks his arm a little bit.
Yeah.
Good Lord, man. Fucking hell. Then the lady that's following Black Mask, or one of his subordinates, whatever, grabs one of the bat knives out of his helmet, stabs him with it.
A bunch of times.
One henchman lights him up with a flamethrower.
That stupid little kid, who I hope gets kicked right in the face.
And then she grabs him in front of a
truck.
Later on, she grabs his axe and she whacks him over the head and just knocks him off a building as the money is burning behind them.
Yep.
Oh my God, man, he got just absolutely annihilated there.
So
now,
one of the
it's all worked for a reason later on, but that was
one of the big things that's happening through this whole thing is that he tells Black Mask, like, hey, it's over, because all of this stuff is being recorded and it's being sent to the news people right now. Black Mask is like, you actually think that matters? You think you're the hero in this story? No, the hero is money. And that goes into what Black Mask, his ultimate plan, that if Batman did not take the deal, if he reneged on it, what his actual plan was. And that ties into the end of the book.
Like, that was a cool little, 180 there before you figure out what Bruce did when he grabbed his pants. Like, he basically said, I don't really care what you just did because it doesn't matter. And to be fair, let's be completely honest here. Let's just say in real life, you want to apply this to real life. Sometimes it doesn't really matter what a hero does, because money will always just end up fucking over someone's brain when they get enough of it anyway.
Money... Homer Simpson said it the best. The cause and solution to all life's problems is money.
It's also the root of a lot of happiness too.
Yeah, it's money can make you very happy, but it can also make you, if I put it this, like, if you're not happy or can make the money that you have now work, unless you're like literally like $0 and homeless, then having a crap load of money is not going to be good for you. Trust me, I know.
Wait, what you said earlier. He even has that point where he's like, you're not even the main character. Yeah, okay. I'm not saying Scott Snyder wrote a bad book, but that feels very internet related, where young people say, like, you have main character syndrome. That's kind of what it feels like to me.
He's saying, but the reason why he's saying that is because he's trying to make the point of, he said that this is being broadcast, so people would look at Batman going, oh my God, he's standing up for us. And he's like, no, you're not. That's not what people are going to look at, because he hasn't said yet what Black Mask is going to do. Black Mask is going to offer all these people money. And that is the main character, because no matter what he did in that moment, he could have done the most heroic thing and saved 10 grandmas. It wouldn't have mattered, because what Black Mask is about to offer all these people is going to trump all that. That becomes the main character for the story. That's why
also in the next arc that I thought about when you were saying that was he could also show people, even though Bruce got the upper hand later on when we talk about that, which is, if you show Batman getting beaten down that bad, people aren't going to think that he can save them. Anyway, it's a common thing amongst people,
Right. But I think that's why he said you're not the main character here. I believe that's why that was written that way.
After that, he falls off the building, and then obviously there's a police manhunt for him, and then they kind of corner him. And then at one point, one of the ladies that could take him in, she doesn't, and she lets him escape right there.
That was
Well,
that was Barbara.
was that Barbara? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So Barbara basically just lets Bruce get away, and then after that, we get that thing that you said earlier about the whole pig situation, where Black
Yes.
Mass was he's basically saying what happened with like he
He's
was
telling
younger.
everybody on TV
Yeah,
what his what his background is, what he did. He said
yeah,
he was like he grew up on a pig farm and his job was to kill the pigs and that he would stick this pin in the back of their skull and there was this there was one moment that he realized on this one pig that it gave the pig almost like an ecstasy feeling. Like it didn't even matter what he was doing at that point. No matter how hard he
jeez.
was fucking this pig, basically the pig was happy. And that's where he gets into, and when they
Mhm.
show Gordon seeing this, his mom seeing this, basically what he's saying is all the stuff that Batman just did does not matter because when it comes down to it,
Mhm.
people are like pigs. No matter how hard you're sticking that in them, that moment of ecstasy, which is the money that he is offering Gotham, there's going to be all this
Mhm.
money there. And they show uh basically like all the black mass people unloading all these things in the city, these giant boxes,
Yeah.
and basically he's going to offer a ton of money to people, and I think it's going to turn into like a battle
Yeah, because he
royale
gave that
situation.
speech of like, you guys just kind of slave away, making other people
Yes,
rich while they go off on like private jets and trips and all that
yes.
stuff on your money. And then in the Batcave, basically Alfred leaves Bruce, basically saying he's like literally in over his head, pretty much.
Yeah, he tells him
Bruce,
he's an idiot and like
yeah,
you're stupid. You think you did something, but you actually just made it worse because what's coming next is on you. This is
yep.
all on you now.
Batman reveals that when he grabbed his pants, he did put a tracker on Black Mass so he could basically, track him down if he needs to. Alfred ends up leaving, and then that pretty much, I think,
Well,
wrapped it
well,
up.
no, this is what happens. So at the end of the book,
Yeah,
Barbara and not Barbara, Jim and Bruce's mom
yeah.
see a bunch of the party animals putting this box down. And he's like, what the hell's that? And they open it up and
Mhm.
it's nothing but guns and masks.
Yep.
So basically, Gotham is going to be one giant party animal sacrifice highway.
Mm.
It's going to turn into a giant battle royale.
Yeah, that's basically how issue 5 ends with, Black Mass dropping all of this loot and all this money, party animal mass to basically show the average person could just be a party animal if you basically just don't want to slave away working for people, which,
Well, I think they're going to have to kill people to get money.
oh
That's what
yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
is going to
Yeah.
happen. They're going to
Yeah.
have to kill people to get this money. And it's going to be like, hey, instead of working and slaving away, why don't you just kill this person? And you might make some money off of it.
Yeah, God. I
And you can
mean,
do it in all anonymity wise because you're going to have these masks on. So
this has been a
something
ride.
something
Let's say
yeah,
that.
something else is afoot though. I'm wondering how much I'm almost wondering this.
Mhm.
If Bruce can't is the one who actually doesn't stop Black Mask. I'm wondering if maybe Joker comes in and to show how
Mhm.
much of a big bad Joker is, he just puts a stop to this whole Black Mask thing, just kills the shit out of him and like boom, that's done. You couldn't even stop Black Mask. How the hell are you going to stop me? Type of thing.
God, because the idea that in the next arc we're gonna have to deal with basically Gotham being some sort of like battle royale party
Yeah.
animal zone where anyone could who's tempted
Anything
enough to do
goes.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's going to bring out the worst. And we already know Gotham is the worst city in all of everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like it's basically giving every single person who has who has never crossed that line, a
Mhm.
reason to cross those lines.
Mhm.
And it's already there's already that many bad people that would do it without even being offered
Yeah.
the money.
Mhm.
Now there's people being offered money for it. So nobody is safe. Or
Oof.
will people pick? There's definitely going to be two different groups, like the people that do and the people that don't. We're going to see, how many people don't. And I'm wondering, we haven't heard from Bruce's friends from like in the present time for a little while. I wonder how they're going to be involved in this.
I
Does
also
that
want to
bring out their bad sides? Like, because
yeah.
Nigma remember, he wants funding. He's got to want funding for the stuff that he does.
Yeah, we haven't gone back to his friends in ever since issue 3.
Three or
His
something. Yeah, it
friends.
was like the one where it was in the past though. Like he was with
He was
Selena.
talking to
And they
all
were
his
at the
friends. Yeah,
movie theater.
yeah. Or
But
even in
the
the
last
present
time
day,
I
we
think
haven't seen him. Yeah.
he talked to Nigma about the mask, and
Yes.
then he talked to Harvey.
Harvey said he almost got in trouble for giving him
Almost
the
got in
info.
trouble
Yeah.
giving him the information. So I think that's it. But we haven't heard from Waylon either for a while.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Yeah.
Ozzy. We haven't heard from Penguin basically for a little while.
Do you think in the next arc he's going to introduce a Robin character? Because I know he's mentioned that randomly on Twitter, like an absolute Robin. But I think that would be its own title, or maybe do you think it'd be introduced in here?
I don't know if I would want a Robin here for this. That's too soon. And no.
Okay.
Robin could be someone that does something that maybe starts from a vigilante that doesn't want the money, that still sees the good in Gotham. For there to be a Robin, if it's a kid, I can't buy it in the absolute universe. You know what I mean? Like, look how dangerous this place is. Unless it's some like street kid that's got nothing to lose and he's already a badass. But if he's like, if it was like an older teenager, that could work. But not teen. Could you see this Batman teaming up with a kid?
Oh, he wouldn't be a kid. He would be hopefully at least 20-ish years old.
That's what he is.
Yeah, you're right though. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So like, I don't know what how
this feels like this Batman needs some help unless he has some grand plan to stop this.
I think his plan with the tracker thing, it seems like from what we're supposed to see here is like he made a very horrible decision. That's, he made the valiant decision showing that he can't be bought with money. Nothing. He's above that. But in the end, how many lives are going to be lost? Because they showed whenever the deal was supposedly on, that was the reason why they showed him going through Gotham on the bikes, because they wouldn't do anything to him. They did not touch him. They did not mess with him. They just watched
honor
him
among
go by.
thieves, you would say. Well,
Black
Mask might maim,
was.
kill, and torture with his henchmen, but at least he'll respect you when you're driving a bike.
Well, he said that they would bring down the killings. Remember, that's what.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. It just, I don't know, man.
No, you're fine. But I'll ask you your closing thoughts on the first arc. You enjoyed it?
I thought it was great.
Okay.
I liked it a lot. I really did. I thought this was a fresh take on the Batman character, and I enjoyed it. I liked the more brutal aspect of him, but I will say it's hard to judge after only 5 issues. So I can only judge what we've got. As a whole, I like what I've gotten so far, and I think Scott Snyder does a very, very good job writing the characters.
I would say basically after the first 2 arcs, we can kind of gauge if this is something that's going to be
something
good
that's going to
overall
work for a while or not. And that's the sad thing, because here's the problem too. The other books like Wonder Woman or Super, they could phase out, right, and suck. But people love Batman so much. If this is working, how do they stop this comic?
They don't. Could you imagine 20 years from now when we're still doing this, there's going to be an absolute Batman omnibus? Covers the first 2 arcs.
Absolute Batman issue number 57.
God, by that point, I'll have like 5 kids, a Lamborghini, a hot wife blowing me every single day.
No, you'll still be in that. You'll still be right there with that door.
Damn, crazy.
The door to the abyss that we don't know what it does.
For me, I thought the first 5 issues were good. The first arc was fine, very solid. The pacing was very good. Dialogue was good. The action was fine. The only blunder, I think, on the first arc is just issue number 4 having that terrible artist they hired. Other than that,
the best writing in the whole freaking
the actual best book in the entire first arc, and they wasted it on a Philippines artist they hired for 3 pennies a page.
I know, right?
So yeah, overall, hey, Absolute Batman is definitely a current ongoing Batman series. I think you guys will really, really enjoy. If you're more into the Batman that you think should be more crazier and goes more off on criminals, I think you guys would really enjoy that, because people always say, why can't he be more like Punisher, even though he kind of already is in his brutal ways he beats people up. If you want that, start getting Absolute Batman. Now you could wait for the trade. The trade is issues 1 through 5. That drops like later in the year after we release this review for you guys. If you get the first trade,
something like that.
If you get the first trade, I think you'll like it, but you will be behind on the second arc that's already ongoing. I would just say you have more than enough time to kind of read all the current issues and then read where it's currently going right now. But if you want to get it to trade, that's fine too. And I think you'll enjoy it in more of a collected edition as well. Yeah. Hopefully Scott Snyder can hire me to write absolute Shazam. I can write that. I got some great writing skills.
We're putting you on absolute Zatanna.
Shit. My Zatanna got some real fat boob. Good Lord. Give me absolute Green Arrow, and he's black, and he dates white women. That'll
there
really
you go.
Black Canary has to be white, and that's I don't care what content. She's always going to be white. I can appropriate white women with my BBC. But yeah, all jokes aside, otherwise, good, fine, awesome arc. Storytelling was just chef's kiss, I would say. I don't know how it would rank this later on as an arc, because then again, we've read a lot of floppies this year. This, I would just compile it all as one arc. Was just definitely worthwhile reading. Honestly, it's crazy over the top. This is some crazy over the top fucking book.
It definitely is. The only thing that I think is a drawback is I don't know in any of the books where this is leading to with. I don't know why.
You don't think it's staying
this has anything to do with the original All-In special. The only thing that I know right now that it has to do with anything is that the universe was created, and here's what's in it. But like, as far as Booster Gold and Darkseid and everything,
yeah, I agree. We'll have to see how they're planning on, let's say, mapping out the things they've already started, because at one point these guys are going to cross over.
They have to.
And we know at some point, given how arcs will kind of flow with some of these characters, sales will dip, and they have to do something big to get people to buy the books again.
Well, that's the last ace in the hole. Besides bringing out legacy villains, that's the big ace in the hole.
Give me absolute Green Lantern, and you can have absolute Booster Gold.
Dude, I'll take absolute Booster Gold if they get Jeff Johns back to write it.
God, yeah, he's too busy on Ghost Machine.
John's Booster Gold, that one that I bought the trade, that was fantastic. It was great. I loved it.
Thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel. If you have not already, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we are going to be signing out, guys. See you guys later. Goodbye. Peace. Wow, you're a stone cold white man.
I am Stone Cold Steve, comic guy.
Damn. Well, we have about 3 minutes left, and I gotta go to my other show.
What's your other show? Who's on it?
I gotta talk to Mugen Lord.
Of course you do.
He's black.
Who?
He's a white black man.
Mugen.
And don't worry, we're gonna see each other tomorrow, and then we could make love to each other tomorrow.
What?
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Tomorrow's going to be an interesting show. What time is that show?
It's at 6, or we could do, because Savage Jack gets home about 6 itself.
6 Eastern?
6 p.m.
Eastern time.
So that would be how much time for you?
I live in East, so 6 p.m. Eastern is 6 p.m.
Yeah, 6 p.m. PST.
So that's 9 o'clock my time.
Roughly. We're only going to go for like an hour and some change.
No, we'll be fine. This is one that I want to do.
You want to? This man's going to say some really crazy
stuff.
No,
I'm really not.
That's why I limited it to one hot take a person.
Well, okay. My hot take is not as crazy as you think it's going.
I need a crazy one. I need the clicks and the views. I need the crazy
my hot
headline.
take is not as crazy as look at who wears short shorts. He wears short shorts.
Hey, my butt is floppy and big for the ladies.
Look at that guy.
But as Michael said, I used to do comic book market watches. Good Lord, my brain is fried. I am black. I'm joking. So I used to do Yu-Gi-Oh! Market watches live with Chaz when we used to do the Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. So maybe sometimes if I don't do them pre-recorded, we'll just do a comic book market watch on here. We just go on League of Comic Geeks and I just talk about all the different stuff coming out. I'll probably end up doing that later on today, or I'll do it on Comic Book Wednesday. But then again, it won't be a everyday thing like I used to do. It would be just a once a week thing. But there's so much stuff coming out, though.
So
there's
tomorrow's show is me, you, Savage Dad, and who?
Lunchbox Warren. He'll be here a little bit later, not too late. He's getting off. Right. He's getting off right as we start, so he'll be here in like 15 minutes afterwards. Okay. So we will have my dad here.
We'll just wait. We'll just randomly BS while we wait to do.
Oh, we're gonna have Jared from Comics League. We'll have him on.
So there'll be 5 of us.
Essentially, yeah.
That's cool.
He's white.
So you and the white guys.
I needs to be whites.
I think I still think that's something that we should look to do on a bi-weekly basis is like a 5 to 6 person do kind of
no, I agree.
What's going on in media, what's going on and all sorts of stuff. I think that would be if we kept it and named the show like the League of Retards or whatever you want to call it, dude, that could work.
What was I gonna call it? I was gonna call
stream it on here, but make another YouTube channel and stream it there. Make it its own thing. Get your numbers here by doing it live.
I got the idea.
Upload that video to
We'll call it Justice League Unlimited.
Look how he laughed so hard at that. You are your biggest fan.
I call it World's Finest.
Okay, fine.
I mean
it does have me there.
Finest?
It does have me in it, so I mean, you're at least getting one cool point there.
I think I'll call it. Yeah, I'll call it something that makes it you'll look forward to the next episode. Dang, I'll probably call it the League of Buttfuckers or something.
How about we talk about it tomorrow and we come up with a name?
I don't like you guys.
Yeah, but we're better than you.
You're a bunch of nerds and a bunch of.
I get it. I get it. I totally understand you.
Oh God! But yeah,
I think that'll be fun. I think that'll work. But I don't want to keep you from Mugen.
Okay, give me 1 sec. He said he's still getting ready, so we still have some time.
So yeah, but I think that'll work, and I think that'll be fun. And if we have to have the same guys on, try to get the same people on. Because I have a feeling me and Lunchbox Warren will have a lot of the same feelings on certain things.
Maybe.
Well, we talked for a pretty good while after you left the other night.
Well, I would say because I try to keep it with a consistent line of people, not because of any echo chamber reasons, but people get more familiar with the person and they kind of build a connection with the personality. Keep in mind, there's various days where you can't even get people onto these shows, so
Yeah, but I mean, I get it. I've watched.
People have different varying opinions.
I've watched shows with Savage Dad on it. I've watched shows that
you haven't seen the ones with Jared. That guy's weird. He's got some odd takes.
I mean, that's perfectly fine. Is he going to be on with us?
He will. Yeah, he will. That's why I try to get people with enough likes and differences. That way they can all have a nice little melting pot. Kind of like how America was built as a nice melting pot.
So whenever I say, well, that's fucking stupid, they'll be cool with that.
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't be. Unless you're literally a complete moron and an insufferable dick or prick, then that's different,
Oh, so if I'm me, they won't like it. So I get it. Cool.
Oh my God. Now he's just doing this to me again. Holy fuck.
You know what? You have a lot of white rage in you.
Oh God. I haven't talked to him recently. I have to talk to him. I just haven't had a chance to talk to him.
My fax is done. He's gone.
He left me like my dad. He left me, guys. Give me 1 second here.
He went out to get cigarettes. He'll be back.
He left me.
25 years.
No, I tell people I love comic books. I really do. And you have so much weirdness that goes on in the comic book industry. You can tell. You can tell it's so cultish. You can tell. And then one person, like you said earlier in the show when we were talking, that one person will step out. And then the people that know that person's telling the truth, they know what that person is saying is 100% factual. But then they will fucking shit on that person because because like people that are like artists and writers always have to act against their own best interests constantly, even though they know what that person is saying is true. They know it, but I have to just have Marvel's cock so far down to my esophagus it punctures my heart. I know they treat me like shit, but I have to have your dick to my esophagus. Please, Marvel, fuck me.
It's the same thing with DC, man. It's the same
Oh,
thing. All of a
yes.
sudden, like someone doesn't like their run and they're off of it, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like, oh well, I didn't really care about this. They were making me do this, and this. It's like, well, I understand that you didn't want to say anything while you were doing it because then you would be off the book, period.
Yeah.
And not get paid. But do you think that they're going to offer you anything else after you did this anyway? So you might as well have done it to begin with.
Yeah, I think I'll tackle to your point, which is like, we know they don't make much money anyway. Like, I don't know. Like, so you're essentially just here for clout? Like, I understand. We love these characters. So it's an honor, 100%. You would say, to get to write on a Batman book or a Spider-Man book or whatever. But that should never come at the cost of you basically going, I will be a part of this weird cult where any line of criticism means I must have my job gone. Do you people know how crazy that is?
Crazy.
It's actually ridiculous. Anyone that signs up for that, you must... I don't know what to call that person.
You should have thick skin when you're writing, especially anything, because it's left up to someone's interpretation. If you're not coming out, and I hope that they never do this, and saying, this is exactly what I meant by when I wrote this. This is exactly what I meant. Then it's not left up to people's interpretation. The conversation is gone. But at the same time, as soon as you're done with something, I don't want to hear how you hated it or why you failed at it. You know, just be like, hey, I'm sorry you didn't like it. That's all. Like, because I don't want to hear about your like crazy politics and shit like that on why something was done. Because you could easily say no.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's one of those things where, like, Rob Liefeld recently, like, he's had some weird hypocritical things he's did over the years, but recently with his thing of leaving Marvel permanently this time, right?
It's hilarious.
He's like, man, Marvel sucks and blah, 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 blah. And then the people that were championing his opinion years ago now just say he's an old man yelling at the clouds. Guys, spoiler alert, we're all old men yelling at the clouds. Every single person, even the person that disagrees with you, is doing the same shit.
Every opinion based on something like that is old man yelling at the clouds.
But just because he's criticizing Marvel, I imagine the same people criticizing him on Twitter are DMing him saying, oh my God, thank you so much. I agree with you.
Here's the crazy part too. The stuff he's saying, the reason why people are like, oh, it's different this time is because look at the content of what he's saying. This isn't your normal, like, oh, screw you type thing. He's like unearthing, like, when someone, you know how they use the word like vitriol and hatred, and you're just like, yeah, shut up.
Your heart is filled with hate. That's my favorite one.
Oh. He's actually unleashing things, which is you're just like, oh, okay. Like it's when someone goes completely off the rack, there's a difference between, oh, you're just saying it for shock value. No, he's actually being serious. So like, then you know there's substance there. Even if it feels one-sided, right? He's still telling you how he feels. This isn't like a gimmick, you know, like other guys would be. And that's why I appreciate it. I haven't always liked Liefeld stuff. Like, dude, I didn't give a shit about his comics. I really didn't. Like, there was so many pockets. Like, I liked his Cable run. I thought Cable was cool. You know, and I thought, like, but his original Deadpool run, like, I wasn't a fan of that. There's not a lot of Deadpool comics that I read where I'm like, oh, this is good stuff. Like, this is great. You know? And that's not saying that I don't like the character of Deadpool. But used like a perfect example is like Phantom X. Phantom X is a really cool character, right? Really cool Deadpool style character in the way he looks, not the way he's written. But like, I liked him in the Fear Itself X-Force. I thought that was really cool, really awesome. I like his spaceship. I like how that whole system works. But that's not a guy that you bring out all the time. You know what I'm saying? And that's how Deadpool should be. It's like that attraction. But when you start, it's like the Joker, when the Joker had like, he was only in once a year or once every couple years. And then all of a sudden he's got like 3 different books.
Yeah.
And we're watching the Joker
Then he's
take
the main
road trips.
antagonist of everything.
Everything.
I'm really, yeah. Fucking
It's
hell.
like,
Because the comic industry does this where like, oh god, this guy's a cool character in a group. Now he must get his own ongoing series. But then this ongoing
Right.
series doesn't work, and now we have to
It's
constantly give him
awful.
random rebooted ongoing series for the next like 20 years. It's like, who out there are reading Jean Grey Phoenix books? I don't know these people.
Can you believe that crap? Like, seriously, I didn't know for like, because I've read, people always want to call it the Phoenix Saga, but it's not. It's actually the Dark Phoenix. That's what it is. If you
Isn't that my chicken that I burnt last night?
If you read the actual books, which I have.
You read the actual books. Crazy. Reading is fundamentally not what people want to do.
Here, where is it? There we go. It's up here somewhere. And but yeah, you actually read those, and it's the Dark Phoenix stuff. And like, as good as it is, there's a lot of the Hellfire group in there, man. And it's like a lot of reading before it gets to the good stuff, you know. And it's one of those things where it's like, this was actually very well done, well crafted. It took a while. It wasn't just straight up in your face and out of nowhere, kind of like it is in the books now, where Phoenix has its own book. And you're just like, no. The reason why it works so well is because you had gotten to know this character for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened in this group of characters' books. Like, it didn't just happen. They didn't break off and you had to read this other thing, you know, to do it. And it's like, I don't know.
Oh, and before we go, I'll ask you, anything you want to close out with? Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to share?
Tomorrow.
Are you going to stream this week anytime soon?
No.
God, where you said, God, you're so white.
Because I work so much, man. Like, I'm sorry.
You're so white. You know that, right?
Until they say, hey, Steve, you can like cut back and work regular 40 hours a week. I can't.
God, man.
Dude, I'm literally leaving here. I'm not joking you. I'm going to go lay down and hopefully fall asleep. So I literally went from work. You want to know what? I went from work. I went out to Walmart real fast because my son wanted Moana 2. He loves the Moana movie. He's only 7. So he wanted Moana 2. So I got that. And that's when I saw the Akira Steelbook. It's really nice, dude. I'll show it to you. It's really cool. So I got that. I came home. I made dinner because it was my turn to make dinner. So I made beef and broccoli. I made it myself and it was fire. And I came right to here. So I worked all morning, all day. Worked more, and you know, now I'm here and now I want to go to bed.
Hell yeah. So we will see each other tomorrow. We'll have to plan out another day to do a show because, you know, Friday can't happen anymore because your work is just killing you, which is fine.
It's just I can't stay up that late.
That's okay.
I
have this habit of making men not last long.
Tell the audience, you know, hey, listen, after that Friday show, I literally got off of here, went to bed at 3 a.m. I did not wake up till midnight the next day. I slept for 21 hours straight.
Oh, shit. Gosh, man.
It's terrible.
Well, I was going to say, next week when we do a review, it's going to be on the Batman Hush trade paperback. Word. And then hopefully after that, I can find my Batman Hush 2 book that I ordered twice. I'm pretty sure I got it in. We'll review that one, and then we'll just be going into Batman issue 158. So gonna have a nice little arc there. But before we review the new Hush 2 Batman 158 stuff, if there's anything that we need to do in the meantime before I get those books in, because you guys know I order them, they have to come in. So any other book we'll have in the meantime, we can do like Absolute Superman. If I don't have the 158 in there, we'll start going through that.
Okay.
Gosh.
Well, I would say either that or we could do the second trade paperback of the Jeremy Adams Green Lantern.
Yeah, that's fine too. Yeah, I have it right here. I know I got it.
That's good. So
yeah,
we should do something that we like.
Oh God, we'll have to get. It's like sludging through shit, man. It's like I have to go through a fat lady's butthole in order to get to the gold. But I think I need to have my brain work some days. Yeah, but thank you guys.
Yeah. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, my brain is officially fried. God, Laps is not our GOAT. I'm the GOAT. I'm the BOT. I'm the best of all time.
I like Emily. I like Michael.
Damn.
you know, hey, whatever. Miss
It's
Sparkles,
okay.
I like Miss Sparkles.
She can sparkle in my dream. I'm joking. So, thank
Oh
you
wait.
guys.
Oh, so Sergeant Girantina asked you earlier. You never answered. It said, Master Swag King, are you interested in joining me on panel to talk about Superman on April 2nd?
I
Which is
have.
usually the best way to ask someone to join on a stream is when they're live streaming,
I'm going to be having sex with my wife that day,
as
so
opposed to
probably not.
just sending an email or Twitter message.
It's okay. Things happen. Where you guys know, I'm a
He's
popular
a good
Riz
guy.
master.
He's a nice
I'm
guy.
a popular Riz master, and I'm using my Lamborghini to go to Vegas later on
And
this week.
Eric the Guapo.
Oh yeah, he was
Like
there
him
too.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show.